Here's the truth. 99% of entrepreneurs actually aren't productive. However, the 1% of entrepreneurs at the top that know how to systemize their productivity are making 99% of the money. Over the last 5 years, I've dedicated my life to optimizing productivity for 7, 8, and 9-figure founders, all at my company, Optimability. And here's exactly what they do different. They're not abusing stimulants, they're not waking up at 5 a.m., they're not going to the steam room and sauna every day. They have a system that fuels their health to make it the biggest wealth vehicle in their life. And so it's moreover about how are we enabling their health to continue to propel them in their life as opposed to their routine or their schedule, because we have to understand the deep necessity for a schedule or for a routine. It's to generate some sort of productivity or some sort of consistency with our output. That's why people make routines and schedules. But when you're at that high level and you have all this free time in abundance and you've earned that, there's no real need for a schedule. And so the productivity mechanism of waking up at 5 a.m. or sauna and steam rooming all day fails flat on its face. I've seen this with guys making $1 million a month or somebody that just sold a company for $11 million. The moment after that is a moment of pure unlock in terms of their creative ability. If they want to go start another business, they can, or if they want to funnel their efforts and get ripped, they can do that too. But the mechanisms that we use to achieve their success with their goals is not aligned in terms of a schedule or a routine. And that's the entire industry. It's at the forefront. It's all about stimulants, productivity, output, go, raising a lot of cash, scaling fast. But the true players know that those are just forefronts for how to actually play the game well. And I've seen this with myself too now as a younger entrepreneur. There are seasons in my line of work. In July, all of our clients are out traveling and they're not responding to DMs or texts and they just want a break. And instead of going and building some sort of a crazy back-end system or creating more work for myself, now being 5 to 6 years in this, 3 years officially into the business and living off of it, I just took it a little bit easier and I let my creative expressions and my health in terms of training, doing more biking, going outside to swim, going to lakes, I let that recharge me and my ability to come into this week, start off strong, start off fully focused, fully recharged, and enable that inner creator for myself. Because that's all that it is. I'm in full alignment with the value that I'm providing to the world and the unique mechanism that I'm using to deliver it. And it's tied to my story and I believe in it and I know it works and it's helped a ton of people. And just by falling into that line of flow, as opposed to forcing myself to wake up at a certain time every single day, or to go to the sauna or steam room every single day, or follow some routine to like force myself to get into line, these are two completely different and abstract ways of going about achieving hyper levels of productivity. Because we're not always going to be productive. There's seasons to things, but in order to maximize our productivity in general, we have to tap into our higher abundance states. And it's really easy to do that once the body and mind are primed up for that. And here's the secret. After I've worked with founders that are making over $20 million a year, $50 million a year, some have sold, they're not focused on their productivity. What they're focused on is their energy and where their attention is going. And for medial tasks where we come in and we delegate it to our culinary and housekeeping team, like cooking and cleaning and laundry, it's a no-brainer for them to delegate that piece to us as a mechanism for achieving success with health, because it's simply not worth their time and the energy that they put into the process to get an outcome. They'd rather outsource that to somebody that is going to use that mechanism in their favor, as opposed to them actually putting in the hours and putting in the work to figure out the process and actually do something to get the end desired result. So in terms of structuring their day to get the most amount of work out of it, well, it's really simple. They go to bed at a consistent time that's aligned with their circadian rhythm. And because we're all humans and we all come from different parts of the world, some of us are night owls, some of us are primed to wake up at 5 a.m., others are primed to go to bed at 12 a.m. So it really depends. And when we align their circadian rhythm with their natural states of sleep, then they wake up and they just get straight into work without any distractions. They don't have to interrupt their flow because our culinary team is preparing the meals for them at home based on their data. And because of this, they're able to spend the entire day from the moment that they wake up until around burnout hits, which is 4 or 5 p.m., fully locked in and fully focused without any interruptions. And that's truly where the most amount of their output happens, is reducing the interruptions. But also on the back end, what's happening with our culinary team is we're using their data, their blood work and their gut testing and their goals to make sure that the food and the training and everything that is being put into their health vehicle, their bodies and their mind, is optimized for them. It's hyper-personalized, and it makes sure that we're not doing any guesswork. Because just like in business, there's no need to guess. There's no need to guess how much money is going to come in. We can just look at our accounting or look at our QuickBooks. And it's the exact same thing in health. In order to get the most amount of output and be productive, which is generating high amounts of output, we had to break down the body's mechanisms. So our fuel, our performance, and our recovery systems. These make up the body and they run in a cycle. And at Optimobility, we dissect those three things and also take into account the time piece that it takes to apply those three things. We make sure that 7+ figure founders are not wasting their time putting all these puzzle pieces together to get higher levels of output. The habits and systems that they rely most on are the habits and systems that free up their creative ability as they're in a state of hyperabundance and in a state of creation. So the constraints on what limits your higher abundant states are things in lower abundance, are states of scarcity. And that's ultimately what we remove from their plates completely. There's no need for burning out and there's no need for slacking in terms of momentum because the entire process and the entire journey doesn't disrespect any of their values or any of their natural mechanisms because we've aligned the natural sleep times, what they're eating, how they're training, how they're recovering to their personalized data that's coming in from their bodies. There is no such thing as burning out because burning out is ultimately a disrespect of the mind or body and the body asking for a break. But when you're enabling your highest level of output without disrespecting the body systems or mechanics that are in control of achieving that output, and you use data and you use a smart approach and you delegate things that aren't worth your time, you're not really disrespecting any systems. And in doing such, you're enabling your highest level of creation possible, which is ultimately what every business owner is after. And over the last 5 years, I've seen it all. I've seen founders come to me at 300+ pounds and we've gotten them down to healthy weights. I've seen people that are popping Zins all day long and sitting in front of the computer with severe gut problems that come back to bite them in the butt. I've seen people that their dopamine mechanics are all over the place because of an injury. And ultimately, what all these founders are doing without knowing is they're disrespecting some aspect of their health system, some aspect of their fuel, which is their nutrition and their supplementation, of their recovery, which is their sleep, their sauna, their steam room, and what recharges the body, or their performance. So their output in their work or with their bodies. Because they don't have the knowledge, expertise, teams, and resources to fix these problems, the problems never go away. And so they're always stuck with putting band-aids on bullet wounds that they don't know how to solve. And if your goal is to be as abundant as possible and to be a creator in this world, you can't disrespect those systems. It's just the constraints on our biology as of right now. In the future, maybe because of bionics or other things, there won't be those constraints anymore and it will be easier to solve them. But right now, in 2025, we have to respect the way that we achieve these mechanisms because regardless if you're watching this video or not, you're going to have to eat, you're going to have to train, and you're going to have to recover. And how you do those three things as a health vehicle is a complete translation into the wealth vehicle that you have in business. And if you're a 7+ figure founder that feels like your health is holding you back to any regard, and you know that there's a smarter approach, check out our website down below, as well as our Instagram to see the type of clientele we've worked with.